He wasn't totally excited about it like you'd expect, but Jimmy handled it great like he always does. We were very straight up with each other. Me knowing Jimmy, he'll be fired up and come in and he'll work his butt off. And knowing Jimmy, usually the more mad Jimmy gets, usually the better he gets. So it's, if Jimmy just gets madder and he stays healthy, I mean, this is going to be a good thing for Jimmy too, which could be a great problem for the 49ers.
Sam and Bucky are back with me, but guys, here's the deal with Jimmy G. And Jimmy G, I'm about to put you on game yourself. You're getting played. Okay, my guy, you are what they call a seat filler. See, when you go to the Emmys, the Oscars, the ESPYs, if you will, there are seat fillers because you don't necessarily, as a seat filler, own the right to that seat, but you're just going to keep it warm until whoever actually owns that seat arrives. The first time I ever went to the ESPYs, I was sitting there seeing people usher in and out of seats, and I was like, wait, what are you doing? Why'd you give up that seat? And then I realized, oh, that seat doesn't belong to them. They're truly just a seat filler. Jimmy G, that seat in the quarterback room, that first one as soon as you walk into the door that's right next to the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach, it no longer belongs to you. It belongs to whoever they are going to take with the number 3 overall pick. You are getting played. But here's the kicker. If you're getting played, you can also play them while they play you, because the fact of the matter is they are going to have to, literally speaking, play you. We just said it doesn't make sense to start a rookie quarterback right away. So, Jimmy G, you are going to be the starter more than likely week 1 for the San Francisco 49ers. And make the most out of that time while being a starter, because, yes, they are playing you, but if you play your cards right, somebody is going to invest into that bank account, even though the Niners have invested in someone much younger and likely a little bit better. So, Bucky, I got to go to you first. How should Jimmy G feel about the 49ers trading for the number 3 pick?
I mean, look, he has to understand it is what it is. Jimmy G is experiencing what most position players experience each and every year, competition. There's always someone walking into that position room. There's always someone who is coming after your job. And what you have to do is you have to earn it. I am actually glad that we're seeing this happen in quarterback rooms around the National Football League, where we're making these guys have to earn their keep when it comes to retaining their QB1 spot. And so if you're Jimmy Garoppolo, there are 2 ways that you can approach it. You can respond like Aaron Rodgers did when Jordan Love showed up and produce an MVP caliber season, or you can be like Carson Wentz and fall apart when Jalen Hurts arrives. And so it's really up to Jimmy G. We get a chance to see, is he tough? Is he competitive? Is he quote unquote gritty? Because if he is, then he won't worry about whoever they bring in behind him, because he knows that this is his team. He has taken this team to the Super Bowl, and he will return to playing at that level. Otherwise, he'll ball up in a corner, and the new guy will take over and lead the 49ers back to prominence.
I like that take, Bucky Brooks. I like that take. Now, Sam, I'm going to set the scene for the viewer. I'm going to set the scene for Bucky Brooks. And if I can, Sam, I'm going to take you back to a place, because 2017, you started about 12 games for the Chicago Bears. You were their primary starting outside linebacker. You started for the Arizona Cardinals. Now you're going into year 7 or year 8. Clearly a starter in the National Football League. But then the Bears do something. They trade a couple first-round picks for a man by the name of Khalil Mack. Now, you're no Jimmy G. You would admit that. I can admit that. But when Khalil Mack showed up to the scene, you knew you were no longer a starter. So you have personal experience here in this type of situation, again, to a degree. How do you think Jimmy G should feel about the Niners trading for that number 3 overall pick?
Well, first of all, I got to address the example, Emmanuel. I love it because you're taking me back to my time. But here's how Jimmy G should feel. Jimmy G should not be surprised. He should not be surprised in the least bit. A business is a business is a business, and the NFL is a business. Jimmy G was 3-3 last year. Didn't play so well. So they're going to go get somebody who can play, who they think can play better. That's what San Francisco is doing. I remember back in 2017 when I was in the Chicago Bears, we didn't have a great season, but I balled, so I'm happy about how I performed. Our team didn't perform well. And so at the end of that 2017 season, going into 2018 training camp, we end training camp, and all of a sudden, the ticker goes at the bottom of the screen, and I see, after I'd made the team and I'm the starter and I'm the guy, I see a few simple words at the very bottom of the screen. Chicago Bears trade everything for Khalil Mack.
Hey, you might as well have said everything.
Might as well. So we had a team meeting. Let me just tell y'all a quick story. So we had a team meeting during training camp. It was about 15 to 20 guys, starters, right? These are Danny Trevathan. This is Mitch Trubisky. This is me. These are Allen Robinson, guys who were starting. We had a meeting. We had heard rumors and rumblings about Khalil Mack, but we didn't know what was going to happen. And so we're sitting in this team meeting, and we're all wondering. It was right before preseason game 3. We're all wondering, what is this meeting about? And it was just the starters. Just the starters. And so we walk in. We got Coach Nagy at the very front of the meeting room. It's 7 a.m. before anyone else is in the building, at least in these meetings. And he sits us down, right? We had all got called individually by our position coaches. He sits us down and he says, hey, here's the deal, guys. We have 5 preseason games this year. We're one of the Hall of Fame games. So you all are going to completely sit these last 3 games. So you're not going to play at all. And so initially we said, okay, like sigh of relief, right? That was good. Why are you having a big old meeting about this? What's the big deal? But then Danny Trevathan made a joke. Danny joked and said, oh, man, Coach, that's good to hear. I thought you were about to tell us you're trading all of us for Khalil Mack, right? Funny joke. A couple people laughed. Here's when I knew something was wrong. When Danny said that joke, Coach Nagy in the front kind of looked left, looked right, and said, and stopped. I said, okay, I'm a seat warmer. I'm a seat warmer because I knew something was up. And 2 weeks later, my seat, I had to get up because they traded for Khalil Mack. What's happening in San Francisco right now, Emmanuel, I love what you said. Jimmy G has now become a seat warmer. Bucky, I know we talked about being gritty, and we talked about that. But it's not about grit anymore. It's about opportunity. Cobb soon. That's why Sean McVay shipped off Jared Goff. That's why, in a lot of ways, Matt Nagy shipped off Mitch Trubisky. If these coaches don't succeed now, they're going to be out of a job. And so I love this utopian world that we think that quarterbacks just have the time to succeed and Sam Darnold's going to get in the right position. No, Adam Gase failed Sam Darnold. I believe in a lot of ways, yes, Jimmy G has been injured, but I believe in a lot of ways the San Francisco 49ers are failing Jimmy G by not giving him opportunity to go show what he can do. They traded for the number 3 overall pick. You're definitely getting a quarterback. And now Jimmy G no longer has his starting spot.
Okay, so you made a great point. You told a great story. I think now we have to talk about the crux of the matter. What is the risk? Bucky, you talked about it a little bit, but I'm about to dive a bit deeper. There are 2 diametrically opposed reactions that Jimmy G can have when a quarterback is taken early in the rounds. Now, one response is the Aaron Rodgers response. Remember, last year, Jordan Love traded up by the Green Bay Packers in order so the Packers could acquire him in the draft. But remember, Aaron Rodgers, in response to the Packers trading up and drafting Jordan Love, had a phenomenal season. He goes from 26 touchdown passes to 48 touchdown passes. He goes from a 62% completion percentage to a 70% completion percentage. Put that in perspective.